In the literary masterpiece Les Misérables, Victor Hugo wrote the following words: "To breathe Paris is to preserve one's soul." In today's video, I'm bringing you along with me to do two of my favorite activities, strolling around Paris and book shopping. Hello, I am Youmna and welcome to youmsbooks. Have you ever wondered how to buy books and not spend too much money and at the same time stroll around Paris in the most beautiful streets of the Quartier Latin? Okay, so the goal is to find books in English mostly that are not too expensive, hence why I'm going to two vintage bookstores. We'll see how it goes. The first one I'm going to is the Red Wheelbarrow bookstore located near the Luxembourg Gardens. Then I'll go to San Francisco & Co., which is an American secondhand bookstore. And the next one I'm going to is Boulinier on Boulevard Saint-Michel. I'm hoping to find books there. I am bringing with me a book for my way there. And it is a Japanese book by Inaba Mayumi, which is called 20 Years with My Cat. So I started this book maybe a few months ago and I still haven't finished it because it's quite a slow burn. So first look at this cover. It has a lot of cats, so very cute. It tells the story of a middle-aged woman who finds a cat who's called Me, and then they share their lives together for over 20 years and the woman becomes a writer, and I really like it. So putting on my sunglasses, let's go.
I've seen her for like 10 years now. Yeah. And she
So I am back from my trip to Paris. It was so hot, but also so pretty. And I come bearing books. So as I showed you before, I have a selection of 4 books and I'm going to talk about them. The first one I found was Nathalie Sarraut's Enfance, translated to childhood. It is an autobiographical book that the author wrote at 83 years old, and she talks about her childhood and how she became who she became. It's written in the form of a dialogue between her and her double, and she talks about her childhood spent between Russia, France and Switzerland. I am excited to read this. Nathalie Sarraut is a major figure of the Nouveau Roman in France. Another French author I really like is Annie Ernaux. She won the Nobel Prize for Literature a few years ago, and she also wrote an autobiography which I really liked, which was Les Années, the years, and I hope I'll like this too. The second book I found is also in French. It's an anthology of Mohamed Darwish poems. Mohamed Darwish was a Palestinian author who died in 2008 and who wrote a lot of poems but also novels in Arabic, and I am very excited to read more of his work, and I believe it is quite an important Palestinian voice to read. It is a bilingual edition with Arabic and French, and I am excited to read it. I've heard of his poems as quite lyrical and dreamlike, and I am very happy to have found this book. So the third book I will talk about now is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories by Washington Irving. Washington Irving was a 19th century author who wrote comic horror. As I said in my previous video, I really want to read more horror, and this one will be my first collection of short stories. I haven't heard a lot from him. I just know that he was friends with Lord Byron and also had an affair with Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein. That's just fun fact. The last book I found was Orhan Pamuk's My Name is Red. Orhan Pamuk is a Turkish author. So the only book I've read from him before was Istanbul. It is a semi-autobiography where he weaves in his family history and heritage with the descriptions of Istanbul and the industrialization of Istanbul. This is a whole other story. It is set in Istanbul in the 16th century and describes the westernization of Turkey. I was hooked by the blurb behind, and it is quite a big book. I am quite excited to discover more of this author and read more about the relationship between the West and the East that he describes in his books. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have found new books to read and that I've made you want to stroll around Paris and find new books. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what are your last purchases in bookstores and maybe what is your favorite bookstore in your own city. And I'll see you in the next video.